Hi everyone, my name is Nitana Vivi. You might have seen me from this video where I talk about Refractor Zyggy. In that video, in the description, I included a deck list, which is this deck. A bunch of you tried out the deck and looks like we're not doing so well. So today I wanted to show you a gameplay video of me playing the deck to hopefully show you what you're supposed to do turn to turn. This is a game I played against Fang on Talishar. I thought it was a pretty good game, so I went to go through the game, talk through what I was thinking each turn, how I make my decisions, and hopefully that'll be helpful for figuring out how to play yourselves. First turn of the game, opponent plays a non-attack monster's dagger Marcus. Obviously against Fang, you want to avoid them gathering fealty tokens. So I block this. A decision I end up having to make on this turn cycle is I have to decide whether I'm holding on to Gone in a Flash or Cloud Cover. Cloud Cover is obviously nice against anything that has a lot of attack reactions with on hits that we care about. But as you'll see in a second, I ended up deciding to hold on to Gone in a Flash for the more offensive output potential. Fully block turn 0, can't really complain. On our turn 1, just looking at this hand, there's really only one efficient way to play it. We get to attack with CNC, and we get to set up this embodiment of lightning with Starlight Road. I've been experimenting with Starlight Road as kind of a variation on Sigil of Solace. I've been watching some deck decks for Aurora and such, and a lot of people are preferring Starlight Road over Sigil of Lightning. There is one advantage of Sigil of Lightning in Zyggy specifically, which is the fact that you can flicker the Sigil with the Zyggy hero ability to basically roll the embodiment into one more turn. But as you'll see, that doesn't end up being relevant here. I think either Sigil of Lightning or Starlight Road end up being basically the same here. This hand's a bit of a shame that we don't get an instant to do the full Gone in a Flash thing. We can't really hold on to anything other than Gone in a Flash. Or we could, but I think Gone in a Flash is the best arsenal we could keep. So that's what I decide to do. We just try to block efficiently here. So use a 3 block on this first attack. And as you'll see in a second, we use our D-React on the second attack. Just to try and block efficiently. The opponent could have potentially juked us here if they just don't play their attack reaction, but they're very incentivized to play the attack reaction because we are marked, and so we do end up getting very nice value from the D-React here, stopping both the fealty generation and the remarking from the attack reaction. On our turn, we don't have anything better than 2-0 for 4s. I believe that Gone in a Flash is a better card than Flow State Embodiment, so I decide to hold on to one of these Gone in a Flashes. If you disagree, you could hold on to the Flow State Embodiment here. But I don't really know what to do with this hand other than just 2-0 for 4s. It blocks a little bit. This game ends up being very value grindy, kind of back and forth, which I love. That's my favorite type of game to play, which is part of why I picked this game to show off. This hand is very nice. I don't know if you see the play yet, but you'll see it in a second. Shimmering Spectre can be very awkward against attack reaction decks. The Mirage ability does trigger immediately. It's a static effect, so as soon as the attack gets to 6 power, it'll trigger the Mirage and the card will be destroyed. So there is some risk here with the opponent having 2 attack reactions and pumping this to 6 or higher. Luckily for us, we didn't have to worry about that. If the Shimmering Spectre is not popped by Mirage, it usually ends up being really good value. As you'll see, it does end up being here. Opponent does kind of make us lose a little bit of value by having that glint. They have 2 cards in hand, so I know they're very likely to play another attack reaction here, so I'm happy to get some value out of my 3 block. I tried to prevent them getting the fealty token here. They might just not play an attack reaction, in which case I'm kind of wasting the armor, but then they would IP themselves, so I'm still kind of getting value in that way. Unfortunately for us, we do get punished by specifically Blistering Blade, the fact that it gets +4 effectively, as opposed to most of Fang's attack reactions that only give +3. So they do get that fealty token. They're still not at 3 though, still not on that. This is just vanilla damage, we don't care, we just want to play our own turn. And as you'll see right now, once the combat train closes, thanks to our Shimmering Spectre, we get this Spectral Shield. And so we can play Spears of Surreality, come in for 5 go again. And then with the 2 floating, we can attack with our Aura for another 5. All in all, we got, I believe it comes out to 16 value. We get 3 block plus another 2 block plus 1 ward later on. And also we dealt 10 damage. So 16 value out of our 4-card hand, which is excellent. This hand is also very nice. I look at this hand, I see I have some efficient plays with Fling Starbreeze, so already that's what I'm planning to do. I'm just waiting to see what my opponent is doing to see if I want to block what I want to block. This hand does basically have an extra card. I do want to block 3 with 1 of these. I just block with Clear Conscious because of Ripple Away having extra text and Fang potentially stopping the fealty token. So I want to keep that in deck. But our plan here is to, as you'll see in a second, attack with Enigma Chimera, give it go again, attack with Fling Starbreeze. So I need all the cards in hand now. I need to keep that blue pitch in order to make that play. So again, like I said, Enigma Chimera coming in first. Fang doesn't have poppers, at least usually, so we don't need to worry about that. After we attack with the Enigma Chimera, we give it a go again with Fling Starbreeze. Technically, I think you're supposed to do this in damage step. It just means that the opponent has the least options for interaction. If I do it at this window, then if the opponent has any defense reaction, then potentially they can do something. So technically this is a misplay, but didn't end up mattering. Either way, we came in for 11 damage total, plus we established 1 ward. So that was a 3-card 12 right there. Very good value. This is part of why I'm considering cutting Clear Conscience from the deck. The 2 cost of Enigma Chimera is just really good for plays like this. This play would not work with a 3 cost like Clear Conscience. We also Arsenal Gone in a Flash a lot, like we did right now. We have Gone in a Flash and Arsenal right now. So the Ponder token kind of ends up being wasted. Looking at this hand, we really want a blue. I really want to play this Sink Below to grab a blue opponent. Very luckily for us, makes it nice and easy. They come in with this attack for 5 with a relevant on hit. So together with the Ward 1, we get to fully block this, and we get to play our Sink, and we do get to cycle the red into a blue. The Spears of Surreality is now an extra card, which again, luckily for us, opponent attacks us for exactly 3. And so we get to use our whole hand efficiently. Altogether, we blocked 7, and then now we're about to attack for 9, so this is a 17 value turn cycle. We get to look at our opponent's hand. I see that they have Hunt's End, which they cannot play right now. The only attack reaction is Blistering Blade, which I'm happy to get rid of, so that's what I end up picking. The opponent does end up blocking with that Hunt's End, which I'm very happy to see. Everything in this turn cycle really worked out for us, especially the Sync drawing the blue. This turn cycle would end up being a lot less efficient if we didn't draw the blue. Here we draw our Flow State Embodiment together with an instant, so we're happy to play that out to get the value out of it. Here I see that the opponent is about to get a third fealty token, so I choose to use Ripple Away in order to prevent that from happening. We also have to use the D-React to stop the attack from hitting and generating the fealty. Unfortunately, Ripple Away does not stop that fealty generation, because the fealty generation from an attack hitting us from while we're marked is from Fang's hero text, so Ripple Away would not stop that. It's a little bit unfortunate here that the instant we got is specifically Starlight Road, because if it was anything else, then we could choose to make an Embodiment of Lightning and then also get the value from the instant. Here we have to choose either for Flow State Embodiment or Starlight Road to create flow, a lightning flow, which we would kind of rather not do. You'll see in this game, they don't really end up getting much use out of that lightning flow. The one thing that it does do is it helps our overcrowded be more efficient, block for one more. That lightning flow, as you'll see, just ends up staying there for the rest of the game and just make all our overcrowded each block for one extra. Which is fine, right? Like, that's not bad. But that's really the only value we end up getting out of that instant. We are very happy to have an Embodiment of Lightning set up with a Gone in a Flash in Arsenal. Unfortunately, this hand is not able to use it efficiently. If we had another blue, we could do the Gone in a Flash, play Nourishing Glow, and then attack with Nourishing Glow. But we're not able to do that here because we don't have that extra blue. So what I end up doing is just blocking with Shelter. And then I talked in my previous video about multiple attack actions comboing with an Embodiment of Lightning, and that's exactly what we end up doing here. So we block with our D-React just for value, getting 4 block out of that. And then, as you'll see in a second, we're going to attack with both of these Miraging Metamorphs, thanks to the Embodiment of Lightning. All in all, I would say this is a 4-card 14, because we basically spent a whole card to get that Embodiment of Lightning. But a 4-card 14 is fine, right? A 4-card 14 is 1 above rate. You should expect 13 value out of a 4-card hand. 4-card 14 is great. Something I don't end up doing here is I don't activate the gloves. You'll see later on that we end up not being able to use the gloves efficiently. I think I want to add some kind of armor piece that's just like blocking armor for the gloves for matchups like this, because of games like this, as you'll see later. This is our opponent's big turn. Again, we have Shimmering Spectre in hand. We really want to get the Spectral Shield out of that, and again, especially knowing that the opponent is having such a big turn, we are already marked and they played Savor Bloodshed. I am afraid of Shimmering Spectre being popped by an attack that has 6 or more. So that's something I'm trying to play around here. Block with Overcrowded here. I'm looking at this hand and I'm kind of thinking this is a hand that just wants to block. So I end up cycling my God in a Flash, hoping for another blocking card. And we end up just getting another God in a Flash. Which is fine. The fact that the opponent used their Draco Fire for a resource tells me that they're going to do something with that resource this turn. So I'm waiting for that with the Shimmering Spectre. So the opponent is going to attack us a couple more times. And you'll see I'm just not blocking here because I'm expecting there to be a better time to use the block on Shimmering Spectre. A safer time, I guess is what I should say. One's having their big turn. Lots of attacks with all their daggers, thanks to Fire and Brimstone. And we're just waiting right now. We're just waiting for an attack where I feel safe to block with this card that has Mirage. I think Shimmering Spectre is a really skill testing card in this deck. I can see here, now I'm blocking with it, because this is not something they can play attack reactions on. Something you always have to worry about with Shimmering Spectre if the opponent just ends their turn. But luckily for us, that floating resource and the extra cards in hand told us that there were going to be more attacks coming. So I waited until the latest possible time, and then I blocked with Shimmering Spectre. Which now means that I can attack with the Spectral Shield. And as you'll see in a second, we're going to play Fling Starbreeze, Tunic, attack with Fling Starbreeze. I think that's kind of one of the core plays of the deck. Worth noting here that this turn would be pretty fine without the Tunic counter. If we didn't have Tunic counter, we could just attack with Spears and then attack with the Spectral. It would be 2 less value. Or I guess actually 3 less value, because we're also missing out on the Ward one from the Fling Starbreeze. So I would say this is a pretty good Tunic activation, basically translated to 3 value. A little unfortunate that opponent had overcrowded with 3 tokens on the board. But oh well. Lucky for us, we also draw overcrowded with 3 tokens on the board. I choose to deploy this overcrowded on the first attack, just to guarantee that we get the plus defense out of it before my Spectral Shield is destroyed. Arguably, I should have blocked with an extra card on this first attack. Opponent is very likely to play an attack reaction because the attack didn't already have Go Again. But seeing that I have Gone in a Flash and Sigil of Lightning, I choose to just use these other 2 cards to block. I'm planning to Arsenal that Gone in a Flash when it returns to my hand. Opponent kind of wastes a card here. They could have just Arsenaled it. So that's good for us. And we get to set up this Gone in a Flash with a Sigil of Lightning, put it back into Arsenal, and then we'll try and take good advantage of it next turn. We get to return Gone in a Flash before Sync resolves, so opponent does not get the Sync ability. Kind of an old trick. This hand is awesome. I thought a lot about if there was a different line here that I should do other than what I did. Feel free to pause the video, see if you can figure out the line here. I think I found the best line. Opponent does get us a little bit here with Glint. They get the Go Again and draw a card. And I could have just blocked later in the turn. You'll see the rest of these cards end up holding in hand. So we missed out a little bit of value here. But this hand plays very well offensively, so I'm happy to just declare no blocks. Opponent does kind of have a big turn, gets a lot of damage through. And you can see they have this extra Sync in hand that they end up kind of wasting, which I'm happy to see. They probably were planning on bottoming that Sync with the Sync they blocked with on our turn. So we get the Embodiment, attack with Gone, we have an instant in hand that will let us return it to hand. Very, very efficient, basically +1 card. Since all of our auras cost 2 to attack with, it's very nice that we have spears here. We get to do the 5 go again into this other aura attack. All in all, I believe this comes out to 19 value turn cycle at the cost of an embodiment of lightning. We deal 14 damage total, 4 from Gone, 5 from Spears, 5 from our aura. And then we still get to Arsenal this Gone in a Flash, so we basically only spent 4 cards, plus the embodiment of lightning, in order to get this 19 value. Very, very efficient. We finally draw our Elliptical Conflux, very happy to see that. It would have been nice to draw it the previous turn. Well, the previous turn it wouldn't have worked with our resource curve, but it's always nice to draw it when you have the embodiment of lightning on board. Because I'm planning to play that next turn, I have to do something with these sink belows, so I end up blocking with one of them here. Arguably, I should have sunk this other sink, and not doing that. The fact we have Elliptical Conflux here means we get to start that loop that we like to do, where we play Gone into Aura, into Gone into Aura, multiple turn cycles in a row. There's an option here to just play Elliptical Conflux and attack with it, but since we're already so low, I'm getting a little bit worried that we're going to miss out on an opportunity to use Lightning Greaves at all. So end up using Lightning Greaves right here. With Tunic, we do get to play this Elliptical Conflux and still attack with it. I would have been totally fine here to give up Restless Coalescence. You'll see it doesn't matter that it's on the board here. I don't get to attack with it. I could have attacked with it, but then I wouldn't attack with Elliptical Conflux, so it's kind of the same thing. But thanks to Tunic Cannon, we kind of get this 2-card 11 that this deck loves. Gone in a Flash into Aura, 9 damage plus 2 ward. In this case, we have to use Tunic and Lightning Greaves in order to make it happen. But now that we're establishing this, now that we are going to have an embodiment of lightning next turn, we can do it again, quote-unquote, for free. We do draw our second Elliptical Conflux, so already I'm looking at this hand, I'm like, I don't really care too much about what my opponent is doing, I just want to block with these 2 block 3s, and then again do Gone in a Flash into Elliptical Conflux. There's a little bit of tension here with the fact that I do want Elliptical Conflux to die in order to be able to do all that. But luckily the opponent makes that pretty easy for us. They throw in enough damage that even if we block as much as we want to block, which in this case is 6, we do still get to have Elliptical Conflux be destroyed. So we get to do our, again, 2-card 11. You'll notice here I'm not talking too much about what the opponent is doing. It doesn't really matter. Now that Fang is online and has all the field D in the world, we just want to make sure we're using our hand efficiently, and the plan is basically the value will come. The value will come just from us playing our turns efficiently, so we just try to block as much as we can, attack for as much as we can, to get the maximum total value out of each hand we draw. So again, we get to do the play, Gone in a Flash into Elliptical Conflux, attack with Elliptical Conflux, comes out to a 2-card 11, re-establishes the embodiment of lightning. Once again, Arsenal Gone in a Flash. This hand, again, has Elliptical Conflux in a blue, so I just want to block with these other 2 cards in hand. Here I'm looking for the cards that get me. The cards that let the dagger get go again without buffing it all the way up to 4. So I'm looking for Tooth of the Dragon, Pledge Fealty. We do want to make sure the Elliptical Conflux gets the full 2 ward, ideally. If the opponent buffs their dagger up to 4 and we blocked 3, then the Elliptical Conflux basically only got 1 ward value. So that's why I'm not blocking here. Also, the fact that we have Cloud Cover in hand means that if the opponent does choose to play all your attack reactions right now, we're not dead. We can play that and survive, hopefully. If they have multiple attack reactions, we can still die, but that's the risk I'm taking here. Again, I just want to block efficiently. I want to do this God in a Flash Elliptical Conflux play. Just using the cards for blocking as much as I can. Here I'm looking for Blistering Blade. Blistering Blade is the only attack reaction that would get this attack up to 5, which would kill me through blocking with Tunic and Cloud Cover. The opponent ends up not having Blistering Blade, but they do have a different attack reaction that does make things very awkward. Long Rest for Loyalty means they get to attack with the dagger 1 more time, and we are at 1 life. So I'm left in a pretty awkward spot here. I'm not able to do the play I want to do, which is God in a Flash into Elliptical Conflux. One slight bit of bad luck we got here is we didn't draw those Elliptical Confluxes until very late in the game. This is turn 12 right now. So already I know I'm going to be activating Calming Breeze here. The question is, what am I pitching? And what I decide to do is I really want to keep this 0-cost aura to combo with Gone in a Flash. So even though it might be the best card in the deck, I end up pitching Elliptical Conflux in order to activate Calming Breeze. As I said, this game showed me that maybe I need a blocking arm piece in order to do better in matchups like this. So that might be something that gets put in the deck in the future. Now, this turn is still not too bad. Attack with God in a Flash, play our instant aura to return it to hand, and then I attack with it again. We are late enough in the game. We have seen most of our Embodiment of Lightning generators, and I really doubt that I'm going to be able to attack with God in a Flash, return to hand too many more times. So I decide this is the time to cash out, to just attack with God in a Flash 1 more time, strip another card from my opponent's hand, and then, thanks to Nourishing Glow, we do have 2 life and 1 ward, so we're somewhat safe. And because the opponent had a 2 block, they end up going all the way down to 1. Now, the opponent's turn does end up being pretty good, but luckily for us, we have Cosmic Duality here. The opponent does not have any Arcane Barrier, but just to be safe, I wait for them to empty out their hand, and then once they've played out their last card in hand, I activate Cosmic Duality to ping them for 1 Arcane and close out the game. Worth noting here that if they didn't do that, their next attack would have, if I didn't have Cosmic Duality, their next attack would have come in for 7, and I would have struggled to block that fully and do anything meaningful on my turn. We can see here, average turn value is 14.54. Very, very good. Can't complain. I hope this was a good demonstration of how to play the deck. Again, feel free to reach out if you have any questions or if you just want to chat about the deck. My name is Nitana Vivi, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.